So as I said, this is map number 2 of a best of 3. I'm Madals, it's Overgrowth, and spawning up to the top right hand position, playing for Team Acer. We've got the orange Zerg, it's Bly. And his opponent down to the lower left. The red Terran player representing my insanity. It's none other than jjakji. So, jjakji is down a game to Bly. Not something I think most people would predict. I'm not actually sure what a Legulac would say about that. Let me take a look while I continue talking about the early stages of the game where not too much is happening at the moment in terms of crazy stuff. But yeah, let's take a look at Bly versus jjakji on a Legulac predict. So it gives jjakji just shy of a 90% chance to take the series. Even if I change it to Bly being 1-0 up, jjakji is still favoured to win, which is the first time I think I've ever seen that happen on a Legulac, that someone can be 1-0 up in a best of 3, and it still favours the person who's behind. But jjakji is just that good. Now, not to take anything away from Bly, but jjakji is playing from Korea to the EU server, so he does have some issues with latency, which could be affecting things, but it's only a could be, no one knows for sure, other than jjakji, of course. Anyway, command center, now coming down to the natural base, so CC first from jjakji, which is a bit more of a bold move, actually, on Overgrowth, because unlike Nimbus, you don't have a base in your base, the wall off isn't super easy if you do it, and you are a lot more exposed. Add in the fact that Bly has shown no hesitation of being aggressive when he wants to be, actually leads to some very, very interesting situations. But yes, when you see what's coming down, barracks into the gas here from jjakji, so still playing this pretty solid, probably going to be going up into those Hellions nice and quickly again. Otherwise, yeah, this is your standard Zerg versus Terran for the moment, just a very greedy Terran player, not much else. Bly going for the gas earlier this time. I like this. He did this up against Strelok earlier on this evening, and I think it's just a very smart move. Getting down this extractor is vitally important to get out Zergling speed and get that map control. It also means that if you do want to go into some roaches or anything, you can do so earlier, and it could be something that we actually see Bly do, because he sees that this is a command center first opening. And upon discovering that, he could easily look to just go for a lot of roaches very, very quickly and try and cause some problems. He's already going for a lot of lings. 8 of them in production, may even go to more. Just depends ultimately whether he thinks jjakji's going to make a bunker. And jjakji should make a bunker now. I really hope he does. Okay, so Bly sees that. He's already sending these lings across. This is why jjakji made it, because obviously he sees the Zerglings coming for him. Importantly, Bly is about to hit that 100 gas mark. What he does with that 100 gas is vital for his plans overall. Does start up speed, but keeps 3 joins in gas. Alright. Is going for these links, chasing down this SCV. Probably just going to ignore it to go straight for the bunker. If he can pick off the Marine before the bunker's finished, it'd be a massive win, but he's not going to be able to. Backs out. Upon seeing that bunker finish, it'd be a lot harder to try and make anything work here because that bunker's up. Quick little check there from Bly just to see what's happening. May try and go for the SCV. May just try and go straight through. Okay. Just running for it. YOLOing past with those Zerglings. Gets a mule. That's actually a great pickup for him. Trying to chase down these Marines. Not going to fare too well. The Zerglings are cleaned up by jjakji this time, so a lot better for him. However, behind this, we do have a Roach Warren. A lot of gas banked up, or a decent amount of gas banked up from Bly, and right on cue, 5 Roaches have been started. Rallied across the map. He is not playing games, Bly, today. He is just happy to stay aggressive throughout. There is going to be Banshee again, but these Roaches are hitting so much earlier than the last game because of this early gas, which Bly did not go for on Nimbus. So much earlier Roaches and the baneling nest. So this is going to be a Roach Bane bust, and it's going to be scary. jjakji. You have done one very nice thing, and that is supply block Bly. And by nice thing, I mean that is amazingly good for you. Supply blocking Bly at this stage when he's going for a Roach Bane bust is beautiful. SCV is going to be able to escape. I don't believe it saw the Roaches. I don't think the Roach one has even been seen. So jjakji may not be aware of this yet, but he does still have the Banshee coming on out. Buying himself time with this Banshee, or to get the Banshee, is vital. If the Banelings come before the first Banshee is out, though, that's where it becomes a bit more challenging to hold this. The Roaches have now been revealed. The Hellion taking a little shot Banshee's still coming. The reason the Banshee's so integral to this is because it's able to focus down the banelings before they even get close with no risk. SCV's already getting pulled. The danger already established. First Banshee is soon to pop on out. There's a couple of lings here. They're trying to move forward. It's a risky move. If you try and go before that, it could run into problems. But the supply depots are down, encouraging Bly to push on in. There's the Banshee, going to start working away at those Roaches, trying to get the big damage dealers dead. A couple of SCVs repairing up on that bunker. The banelings waddling forward as well. Detonation will allow that bunker to die, and there's no wall off in the main. jjakji is frantically trying to pick this off. The Banshees will kill everything that Bly has in the base. It's just how long will it take them? How much damage can Bly do before them? The SCVs are trying to fight. The damage Roach not being focused, unfortunately, by the Banshee, allowing Bly to just get a little bit more efficiency out of this. Running in now with a lot more Zerglings, trying to pick off more workers. 13 SCVs have already been killed. But for the moment, jjakji is going to be able to hold. And behind this, Bly is going for a lair. He's going for more drones, so he's not continuing on the pressure. But let's take a little stock of what actually came from that. Now, 14 worker kills looks fantastic for Bly. But bear in mind how much he invested to make that happen. It was an early Roach run, early baneling nest, a lot of Roaches, a lot of Lings. His drone count is only at 35. So he's actually only up by 6 workers, and with 2 orbital commands, 2 mules, that probably doesn't equate to him having much of an advantage in terms of the income. He's actually down in income at the moment. So he invested a lot and didn't do enough damage to get himself economically ahead. jjakji, despite what it may have looked like, is in a very, very good position at the moment. And therefore, I'm not quite sure what Bly's got planned off the back of this. He is trying to deny this third, which will certainly help. But he's got no third base of his own. It's not even started yet. This Queen taking quite a beating. Going to go down to those 2 Banshee. Easy peasy. That now means only 1 inject available. The Spore Crawler, the only threat in the main base. jjakji's starting to pick away at a couple of workers. He's now level on the SCV count. So seriously, jjakji is in a great spot this game, despite the early aggression from Bly that appeared to do quite a bit of damage. A couple of these Hellions sneak back behind the wall. Third base still trying to be completed from jjakji. Note the SCV is actually being left alive. Finally getting picked off. That's a good snipe. You don't want it to be continuing to be built. A few Roaches coming on in. Hellions can have a lot less of a nice time dealing with that. The 2 Banshee, however, they've still only got the 3 kills, 2 worker kills there. Couple of shots now coming down. This one Roach trying to scare away these Hellions, but now the armory's finished and they're becoming Hellbats. It's going to be a lot more difficult to do anything. jjakji may end up having to cancel this third, though. He is. So that's a bit frustrating. A good pick off for Bly. Certainly buys him a bit more time. But his own third base has only just started off the back of this. So regardless, he's already quite a fair way behind in terms of his economy. Interesting to see what this Spire is going to be able to achieve. Is there any anti-air? No. jjakji has got a tank, Hellbats, and Banshee. And no missile turrets as of yet. jjakji, please don't miss off any missile turrets. He's getting an engineering base, so I'm hoping that he's going to make that. He hasn't seen the Spire yet, probably going to discover it fairly soon. Goes for a quick little scan. Of course, the Overseer now moving forward. The Banshee may just be able to kill the lair. Finally see the Mutalisk coming on out though. So this buys jjakji a lot more time. He's already got missile turrets started. Gonna lose all of these Banshee, which is frustrating for him. But it does give him the chance to build up some kind of defense. He's got a Thor out already as well, so he's not caught completely with his trousers around his ankles. He should be in a much better spot to try and defend this, but still going to be a little bit rough. Missile turrets aren't completed yet. Thor count is only at 1. In come the Mutalisks. They're going to be going straight for the SCV count. Thor getting a couple of shots off. Missile turret will finish. A couple of Mutalisks went down. Just the 1 Mutalisk so far. That was for a few SCVs, so that was alright. Still though, Bly is only just now up to 3 bases. His drone count very low, and still being worked away at by this Banshee. 6 kills on it. The Mutalisks though working away at the 3rd CC of jjakji. jjakji just doesn't care at the moment. He's just like, well, you can attack it for a bit. No point lifting it. Probably going to drag over his 2 Thors. Nice contamination. Going to stop it becoming an orbital command for a few more seconds. These Mutalisks, they've got their work cut out. Thor's coming on over. It's going to be close. I don't think the Mutalisks are going to be able to grab that. No, they're not. Repair's coming in. That was a really nice move. Grabbing the SCVs as well, repairing it up. jjakji should be able to keep that. jjakji up now by 10 supply, which is very, very solid for him. Unfortunately, having a small gap in his missile turret ring. Going to lose a couple of workers. My concern for Bly, though, is where his Mutalisks escape. There's Thors everywhere. Yep. A lot of these Mutalisks are going to go down. Pretty much the entire flock now dead. Just one. One survivor from that to go and tell his buddies what happened. Tell them not to try and go in there again. Bly adding in a 4th base. He's also adding in the 1-1 melee. Ranged upgrades. Going into a Hydra Den and the Infestation Pit too. But yeah, jjakji, he's in a beautiful spot at the moment. Even though his work count isn't quite as level as it was before, look at the army supply. 71 to 32. Factoring in the upgrade advantage for jjakji as well. If he moves across the map anytime soon, which by his posturing he's considering, he could do a heck of a lot of damage. I'm not really sure how Bly would defend at the moment. If he's given a bit more time, there's certainly options. For a start, Swarm Host can be a really good decision. Just because they'll buy more time. But it looks like it's going to be the Roach Hydras. Roach Hydra, plus the Vipers coming off the back of this hive, means some great Blinding Clouds. And we saw up against Strelok. Bly is no slouch when it comes to getting some good Blinding Clouds. May get a free tank, does get a free tank. Always good. Tanks are very expensive, both in real life and in StarCraft 2. This poor little scouting barracks. It's not really little, it's huge. This poor, huge floating barracks. We'll survive, but still, a little bit irritating. Anyway. In come these Mutalisks, they find a couple of Hellbats as well. So all this little bit of trickle damage is always going to be quite nice for the Mutalisks as a whole. Anything they pick off is just leveling out this resources lost tab, which is still in favour of jjakji. Good number of Roaches on the field. The tank count is still a little bit too high to engage head on though. 9 tanks. If it was 9 Thors, easy. Roaches actually do very well against Thors. But with the tanks there, it's going to be challenging. Probably impossible until we see some Vipers with the Blinding Cloud. So jjakji pretty much up to, well, he's up to 110 army supply. Picks off a couple of Mutalisks there. And he's starting to proceed across the map. The Vipers are frantically trying to get out on the field. They don't actually take too long to produce. So hopefully, for Bly's sake, they'll be out soon. jjakji going to be exposed to a counter-attack though while this is ongoing. He doesn't actually have much to defend with. By much, I mean he doesn't have any defense. He's completely moving across the map. Bly is going to get some good damage down. This is almost a complete replica of his game up against Strelok. 2 tanks remain though for jjakji. A 3rd one just popping out. And if we look over at the 3rd base of Bly, he's getting assaulted pretty hard. Huge number of Hellbats pushing on in. The tanks supporting from behind. And only a handful of Roaches out on the field at the moment. The Vipers frantically trying to get a bit of energy consumed up. But already the 3rd hatch is dead. The 4th is going to get taken down. And unlike that game against Strelok, the 5th isn't up yet for Bly. The Roaches didn't do anywhere near as much damage either. jjakji moving on forward. He's got that upgrade lead still working on the +3 vehicle attack upgrades. Is about to demolish that 4th base. Gets it nice and steady. And now this is where, without a doubt, Bly is on the back foot. His Roach Hydra count not that high. He's still trying to consume up energy for these Vipers. They're nearly there. They've got enough for some Blinding Clouds. Blinding Cloud, of course, 100 energy, so they can have max 2 per Viper. Trying to intercept this army from jjakji on the way across. jjakji can't see it over that ramp. He doesn't have watchtower control. Small little engagement now coming on through. There's the Blinding Clouds already hitting. Actually going to be very, very important getting those Blinding Clouds. Allows a lot of tanks to get taken down. Few ducks on a couple of the Thors. They're going to get focused out quickly as well. But there's the siege tanks coming in the back. Bly moving into those. Will get a couple of Blinding Clouds. Allows the retreat. But nice little trade there for Bly actually. He loses more overall still this game because he lost these 2 bases and quite a few workers. But that particular trade went nicely for him. He got quite a lot of the Thors, a lot of the tanks as well. But jjakji's army is still terrifying. He's still up in army supply. He is up by a base, which is just something you never want to be in that situation as a Zerg against Terran. But for jjakji, just now adding in a couple of Vikings. He needs those in order to start working away at the Vipers, try and zone them out of getting those blinding clouds down. Because the blinding clouds are essential if Bly wants to be able to trade against this late game mech army. He needs to be able to do something that will disable those tanks and prevent them from just obliterating his army off the face of Overgrowth. Other option, of course, is the Broodlords. But again, the Vikings, they come in there as well. The Broodlords can be very, very strong, but the Vikings are going to zone them out and pick them off easily, unless there's air support. So a couple of Roaches harassing here. Only 2 of the 3rd, 2 of the 4th. But still, it's some Roaches that are dealing a little bit of damage. They've killed off 52 workers so far this game, which is nice by them. But jjakji advancing forward yet again. This Great Aspire nowhere near finished. The Viper count's still at 4. They've all got 200 energy, so that's a lot of blinding clouds. But what else is there? Not very much at all. 13 Roaches and 5 Hydras. These blinding clouds are going to have to be spectacular. So many tanks spread so far back. Getting a lot of them caught out, but the Thors, they're still dishing out some good damage. Bly trying to trade here. He's under half the army supply of his opponent. jjakji didn't really lose much, and down goes Bly's 3rd base again. jjakji, he's fought his way back very, very nicely in this game. Bly tried to get so aggressive early on, and even though it looked like he did quite a bit of damage, it just wasn't enough to make up for how much of an investment going for that aggression was early on for Bly. Bly's 5th base has now been discovered as well. This is disastrous for him. jjakji just zoning out this army, just sending 1 lone tank across. And with that being discovered, Bly knows its lights. GG and jjakji levels up this series to be 1-1.